The Adair Warriors are back in the state championship game, and they'll take on the Vian Wolverines on Friday at noon at UCO. Two Eastern Oklahoma powerhouses will collide for the gold ball. And this is our look at the Adair Warriors. Joining me now is their head coach, Brady Bradbury. And coach, before we get into this year's team, your path to a state title game, Vian. I got to go back to last week because you guys, even though a lot of the attention was on the state championship games in some of the larger classes, we had semifinal football on Friday night, and the Adair Warriors and the Stroud Tigers played probably the best semifinal game of the year. Just an absolute instant classic. Just talk to me about that game and ultimately getting a huge win.
Yeah, it was an absolute battle between two really good teams. Coach Presley does a really good job, and they have some dudes over there, and we just held on a little longer than they did. It was one of the best games I've ever been a part of, coaching or playing. So
Now, I know, just reading the stories from it, going back and looking at some of the big moments in that game. Obviously, a huge key was your quarterback, Cooper McCord, and that should surprise absolutely nobody who's familiar with Adair football over the last couple of seasons because he's been so special on both sides of the ball, but really, running this offense to perfection throughout this season. Talk to me about Cooper and his continued development. I was able to catch you guys in person back in the district opener against Salina, and talking with him after the game, he has an energy that you don't see very often from high school kids. He was all smiles. He didn't try to act business like and try to act more mature than he's a high school kid, and he was
mhm.
excited about getting a win over a really good team, gave all the credit to his offensive line and his teammates and the work that they do throughout the week. Just talk about him as a player, as a leader of this team, and as an overall teammate because it's very clear he's been very special to what you guys do.
Absolutely. Coop, he's a football player. I mean, he will do some stuff. He actually didn't play very good for 3 quarters the other night, and then he finally turned it on in the fourth quarter. But that's Coop's MO. He just keeps swinging all the way through, and he's really bought into our philosophy when I took over about playing the next play, and that's Cooper's to a T. He just plays the next play, and he has really taken in his senior year and really has just enjoyed playing high school football because a lot of these athletes don't understand this is one of the best times of your life, and he knows it's coming to an end, and he's just trying to enjoy every moment, all smiles. He's business when the game's on, but he's loose and relaxed, and keeps these guys going the way that we want to go.
Where does the energy from him come from? Because I go back to that Salina game, and he had to work for everything, whether it was throwing the ball, running the ball, made big hits on the defensive side of the ball, and so you know you play all 48 minutes, both sides of the ball. You're thinking he's going to be worn down when you're talking to him after the game, but he had probably as much energy after the game as he did before the game. Where does it come from? Because I mean he's got to be the Energizer Bunny, man. Like his stamina is off the charts.
Yeah, that I think that comes from his parents at home. They do a really good job, with all their kids, and that's just his personality. He's a high energy guy, and he loves football. So any chance he gets to play, he's going to play as hard as he can and with as much energy as he can. And if that's 56 minutes in a game, it's going to be 56 minutes. If it's 48, it's 48. It's just Cooper's bought into the grit philosophy of what we're doing here, and he's special to me.
Now, he gets a lot of the spotlight, and rightfully so. He's earned it with what he's done over the last couple of seasons. But at the same time, you don't make it to a state championship game. You don't win all of these football games with just one player. It certainly helps at the small school level to have that guy that, is a borderline superstar, maybe just throw away the borderline word. He is that with what he does. But you guys have plenty of other players that have been making plays all season, and a couple of guys that again, going back to that district opener that I was able to see in person that really impressed me. Ryan Wilson, Cole Moody, especially those two guys play very complementary to what Cooper's able to do and makes this offense very dynamic.
Yeah, Ryan missed his whole junior year. He was injured on the first offensive play his junior year and was out the whole year. So he's played with the energy you expect of a guy that was hurt, missed the whole junior season. He's a really good football player for us. Probably more so defensively than he is offensively. And then Cole's just grown up from a year ago. Cole just really has progressed since we started this 3 years ago, and he's just coming to his own. And his skill set fits what we want where he's at. Ryan's fits where we want, and then I also talk about our other skill guy, Ethan Stevens, that moved in. When you watched us, he was still getting comfortable in the offense, moving in late July, and he's really come on as of late and really added another dynamic to the offense.
Now, this is the part of the conversation where we just kind of open it up, and we talked about Cooper plenty. We talked about some of the other skill guys, but again, you need all 22. You need all 11 on offense. You need all 11 on defense, and some of those guys that they go back and forth between offense and defense. Talk to me about some of the other guys that have played key roles throughout the season, whether big moments throughout or whatever it may be. Who has helped the Warriors make it to this state championship game on Friday?
Offensively, it would be the offensive line. We're nothing without those guys, and that's a huge testament to Coach Ragland and the two seniors up front, Keaton Sproul and Zane Nichols. Zane started for 3 years for us. He's only given up 4 sacks and over 1,000 snaps, so pretty consistent. Keaton had to wait his turn, and he's taken full advantage of it. And then we got three sophomores up there, and they've really come on and bought into what Coach Rag has been teaching them. And then our tight end, Zach Wilson's a freshman. He's Ryan's brother. He's going to be a real good player in the future for us. I ask a lot of him, probably more than you'd want to as a freshman, but he does a really good job. And then Britton Kerr has come on for us at the tight end spot as well, which we had to make a move after 45 got hurt against Salina, Brody Longhorn. Um, and then defensively, you can't talk about, number 5, number 44 for us, both sophomore linebackers that rotate with each other, give Cooper a break every now and then. They've been essential into what we're doing. And then number 20, Kel Rampy, another sophomore for us on defense, is going to be a really good player for us. But and then the last one I'll talk about is that kind of gets overlooked is Kyler Green, our backup quarterback that we asked to come in short yardage situations. That way we can move Cooper around a little bit. He's taken that role on for 2 years now. Has done an excellent job. And I played him at receiver some. And he's 6'6". He'll say he's 6'7", but well, he's 6'6", and he's bought into what we've done. I've asked a ton from him, and like you said, it takes all 22, if not all 40 of our guys to help us. You can't overlook your scout teams in practice to help get the looks you need to help stop people and to score points. So it's been a great watching the program grow up and guys embracing their role on the team and making the run at this thing.
Yeah, when I was there back in week 4 and watching you guys warm up and seeing, all 6'6" of number 2 out there running around, I'm like, who is that guy? Because I need to figure out what he looks like a wide receiver, or tight end, whatever you want to do. I can't wait to see what he looks like at quarterback. All 6'6" under center, having to crouch down real low to get that snap. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he does over the next couple of years. High ceiling for him moving forward. But let's talk about you, man, because you're a proud alum of Adair High School. The Bradburys, have obviously had a lot of success with this Adair football program. And for you to now be the guy in charge of this program that you grew up in, I got to think that, number one, there's a lot of pride in that. But number two, to help, get this team and this program back on the big stage playing for a state championship. There's even more pride in that. I again, it's a team sport. It's not just one individual. It's not just one coach. You have a wonderful staff, but for you personally, I got to think that there's a lot of pride in being in the guy in charge of this program and making it back to this stage this week.
Yeah, there's a ton of pride in that. But like you said, it doesn't all come from me. It starts from the top down. I got to play for Coach Lippy before they made the run at it. Kind of helped build the layers up with all the guys that we played with to kind of get where they needed to be. when he was here. And when they trusted me with it 3 years ago, we were just trying to get back to similar to what he did, add your own flavor to it. But um, our kids are acting right, which is number one for us. If we do that, at the end of the day, it's just a football game. We're just trying to create, the cliche character things to help them in life because a lot of guys don't go on to play. But they have bought into being good young men. And that's probably what I take the most pride in is watching them grow up as young men and be able to be successful when they get out of here.
Adair is a football hungry community. And I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know. But for the viewers that are watching this, it's a unique matchup this week with Adair and Vian, two programs and two communities that, man, they love their football. And it seems like the whole town is centered around the football program. And again, I go back to week 4, and that happened to be homecoming for Adair. And just looking around, I think there was still an hour before kickoff, and the stands were full. There were hundreds and hundreds of people lined around the track. I'm like, I don't think there's anybody else in this town that's not right here. Vian, it's the same story. Two great football communities going head to head. Just talk about this community with Adair, where it is very clear that football is such a driving force there in northeastern Oklahoma.
Yeah, the community's been great. We work hand in hand with the Little League, and everybody knows TJ, the Little League president. He gets everybody hyped up and excited for football. And as much as it is a football community, Adair loves their sports. They
Yeah.
support in everything, So we were at Ponca, and it's an hour and a half before the game, and we got people rolling into the stands on a long drive, So. And we talked to the kids about that. Like everybody just wants to see you play as hard as you can, give everything you have, and the chips fall where they may. That's what Adair is about. It's not always about the wins. It's about acting the right way and performing the right way, and they're going to be behind you 100%.
Now, we mentioned Vian, and that's who you guys get on Friday afternoon. Let's talk about the Wolverines. Um, this is a team that made it to the state title game last year. They had to walk off the field with a silver ball, and there's, talking with Coach Willis and knowing some of the guys that are within that program, they are incredibly hungry to be back in Edmond, and they want the gold ball. Obviously, when you look at Vian on film, certain number 2, stands out immediately. He's one of the more dynamic players in the state of Oklahoma. So the easy answer is, hey, we got to find a way to contain number 2. So outside of trying to stop Mason Wright, what stands out to you when you look at Vian on film this season?
Their offensive line has gotten so much better from the start of the season. They got good complementary players in number 6, number 3. You can't forget about number 3. He's a stud. Number 1 does all their dirty work. He kind of gets overlooked. Plays Mike for him. He's a bad dude,
Yes, he
and
is.
their Coach Willis does a really good job with those guys and getting them in a position to be very successful. And we're gonna have to match their hunger and their energy early for sure, and try to match that. Try to tackle those guys, man. They're good. They're really good.
You mentioned number 1, Riley Ellis, the linebacker for Vian, and I already talked with Coach Willis, and I mentioned, we're going to have the benefit on Friday of seeing Cooper McCord and Riley Ellis meeting every now and then, and that's, the collisions on the field in Edmond. Riley Ellis isn't the biggest linebacker, but he's one of the
Yep.
hardest hitting linebackers in the state. The collisions on Friday are going to be something to watch. If you're a fan of hard hitting football, this is the matchup for you. Coach, we'll get you out of here on this simple question. It's an easy question to ask. Whether the answer is a cliche coach speak, maybe not an easy answer at all. When you look at this matchup with Vian and knowing what you guys have, and what you guys have to do, what's the biggest key to getting a win on Friday and capturing another state championship?
I'll give you the cliche answer, but it's the truth. We're gonna have to be able to tackle in space. We're gonna have to be able to block them up front and kind of get to the linebackers when we need to. Hopefully, limit those collisions with number 1, and then Take care of football. That's something we haven't done a real good job of the last two games. If we can do those things, I think we'll give ourselves a chance.
Coach, I know you take a lot of pride in being the man in charge of this program and guiding it back to the state championship and, looking for that first state title in a decade. And Coach Lippy did such a great job, guiding this program a decade ago. And there's so much respect for this Adair football program across the state. And like I said, two fantastic communities going head to head. Centered around the football program, Adair and Vian. It's going to be a great matchup on Friday afternoon. Congrats on making it back to the title game, and we'll catch up before kickoff in Edmond. All right.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
That's Adair head coach Brady Bradbury joining us here for our look at the Adair Warriors. For our conversation with Vian head coach Gary Willis, you can check that out now on our YouTube channel and also all of our preview content on prepredzone.com/Oklahoma leading up to kickoff on Friday afternoon at noon for the 2A2 state championship game between Adair and Vian. One final time for Coach Bradbury. I'm Michael Knight, and this has been our look at the Adair Warriors heading into Friday's state title game.